Hello, YouTube family. Yes, it's right. I have my Capnotrainer here today, and I had this crazy situation where my luggage was lost. It was actually in the Munich airport, which apparently happens when you fly through Munich, Frankfurt. Luggage just kind of like gets stuck there for 5 or 6 days, but eventually I did get it back, and oh my God, I had my Capnotrainer in there, so thank God it's back. And basically what I'm doing today, I'm actually on a ship right now, training a couple clients who are here. We're sailing in Croatia, really exciting. And because no one wakes up super early in the morning, I'm in here in my lab by myself. And could I have more equipment on me? I got like my ab ribbon, my audio equipment, got it going on. But because I want to get on the treadmill, and basically what I'm gonna do from here is I'm gonna cut to a screen recording of what we're seeing with the Capnotrainer, and I'm going to be running. Sorry for the sounds of running. The audio won't be perfect, but you'll hear me making certain observations, and you'll also hear me performing various breath patterns. I'm probably not going to make comments. I'm not going to be judgmental about a lot of them. I'm just going to show you what I'm experiencing as I'm running, performing nasal breathing, breathography, engaged exhale, but through the nose so that we can capture the CO2 that's coming out of my nose, hyperventilation, and just I want you to see in real time what's happening, and we will discuss more deeply how that's physiologically affecting the body, the pros and cons in a later video. So check it out. We got about 15 minutes of observation here. I can't wait. Here we are. This is incredibly exciting. So as you see at the red dotted line, that is 35, the measure is 35 millimeters mercury. And so we're measuring in pressure because the pressure of the carbon dioxide as I exhale, and it significantly correlates with the carbon dioxide that's in the blood. And so this is a great measure. Now you can see that I'm actually the red dotted line is average, and I'm gonna start walking on the treadmill right now. I had been doing a little bit of cardio before this, and I also noticed this, where if I'm not thinking about my breathing, I have a tendency to be a bit low carbon dioxide. And so the average is 35, and we really wanna hover between about 35 and 45 throughout the day to be eucapnic, that's EUCAPNIC. And so you can see when I'm starting to think about my conversational pattern as I'm walking, if I can try to get more words on one exhale, I'm going to raise my carbon dioxide level quite a bit, like I'm doing right now. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Check it out. So by 10, I was probably about 10 seconds on an exhale, and it quickly went all the way up to about 45. And so it shows you the power of the breath. I'm just going to start at a gentle jog here, and sorry for the sounds of the jogging, but I just want you to know that I'm doing this in real time, and it's such a great experiment with this awesome Capnotrainer. So I'm at a 3% incline. I'm 9 kilometers an hour. So, just a gentle jog. So I want to show you what happens. Right now, I'm actually not thinking about my breath, and I'm just breathing through my mouth. So the carbon dioxide is always going to, generally, at first, it's always going to go up a little bit because you're generating carbon dioxide in your muscles. And of course, because I'm talking to you and I'm doing this YouTube, my CO2 is going to be naturally just a little bit higher than it otherwise would be because I'm focused a lot on my exhale as I'm talking to you, because I've trained so much to try to get a lot of words on one exhale. But now I'm going to be quiet, and you're just going to hear the sounds of my jog. And I want to show you what the CO2 does when I'm just breathing through my mouth and kind of not thinking about regulating my breath, but I'm not hyperventilating. Here we go. So you can see pretty strong average at 30. It's rising and falling simply because it only captures the CO2 when I squirt a little air out of my nose, because that's how it reads it. So that drop down to 0 doesn't mean that my CO2 goes down to 0. But you see, as I started to talk, the CO2 would rise above 35, so it's interesting. So now I'm gonna show you what it looks like when I actively hyperventilate through my mouth. I do not recommend doing this ever on the treadmill because it can cause dizziness, possibly passing out, and also you do get severely hypocapnic. So I'm doing this for you as a demonstration. I'm gonna be audible with my hyperventilation so that you can hear, so that you can correlate that hyperventilation with what's happening with the carbon dioxide, which is no bueno. Okay, here we go. Okay, that's not so great, right? We're below 30, but now I'm gonna go even quicker. I'm gonna go 1 breath per jog. Whew, and I can't even sustain that because I am starting to get dizzy. Holy moly, so all the way down to like 15. That can cause muscle cramping. It can cause reduced, and most likely is causing right now, reduced blood flow to my brain, right? And see how I shoot right up to 35 because my body's trying to create homeostasis and immediately rise up to balance. So now I'm gonna go again. I'm gonna try to balance that out because it does not feel good to be low carbon dioxide. And a lot of people are doing that. And what I really was excited about doing this because I wanna demonstrate that when you overbreathe and your body doesn't need that, when you're exercising, you go severely low carbon dioxide and it happens instantaneously. Did you see how quickly that happened? So it's really, really interesting. Now, I'm gonna show you what it looks like to simply nasal breathe. I'm actually not gonna think about the frequency of my breathing yet, but I'm gonna show you how simply closing my mouth affects the CO2. Ready, go. So as you can see, I wasn't thinking about the frequency. I was vaguely aware of it because it's hard not to be aware of it when I'm talking about the breath. But as you can see, simply closing my mouth averaged me getting very close to 40, which is smack dab in the center of eucapnic normal carbon dioxide, which is great. Now, I'm gonna show you what it looks like. Still nasal breathing only. I'm gonna inhale for 3 jogs, and I'm gonna exhale for 6. And let's see what that does. So that's interesting, right? So you see it rises over time, and probably if I kept breathing like that, we'd probably hit like a 45 average, which is at the upper end of normal of eucapnia, which is great. A couple of reasons that's great. One, rise the carbon dioxide in your body when you're working out and you're increasing the blood flow to your muscles. Increased blood flow to your muscles is going to improve the function of the muscle. More blood flow, more oxygen, even though your oxygen might be lowering lately in your blood, not very much, you're getting exponentially greater blood flow, perfusion, oxygen to your muscle and your brain. So when you raise the carbon dioxide in your system, it increases the size of the cerebral, of all the arteries, of all the blood vessels. But specifically, I'm thinking about the middle cerebral artery. So that's one of the main arteries that sends that blood flow to the brain, right? And a lot of studies have shown increased size of that artery, of course, is going to increase blood flow, but then also increased velocity. And so that's fascinating to me, that you get the velocity and the size. So you're getting significant increases in blood flow to your brain when you increase the carbon dioxide in your body. Now, I want to show you guys a breathing pattern that I've developed over the past couple of years. I call it breathography. Yeah, it's the choreography of breath. Basically, I perform the breathography breath cycles through the mouth, where I blow for 2 seconds, hiss for 2 seconds, softly shush for 2 seconds, and loudly shush for 2 seconds. I do that on purpose for a couple of reasons. One, it incorporates a forced exhalation into the exhale, which helps to strengthen the lung capacity, gets you to a full exhale, which a lot of people don't get to. It improves the entire respiratory system, which does decline in function with age, and so it's so important to work that in. But the problem with a forced exhale is that if people just think, oh, I'm going to force exhale during exercise, many times you end up hyperventilating because you're quickly exhaling, in like 1 or 2 seconds, and then you're inhaling again. And as you see on this graph here, that's not good. We don't want to go low carbon dioxide. So how do we incorporate a forced exhale, but yet stay normal or even slightly hypercapnic? And you will see that an 8-second exhale, inclusive of a forced exhale for the final 3-4 seconds, not only increases recruitment of the core and the respiratory function, but it also does wonders for your carbon dioxide. Now, because the Capnotrainer only measures carbon dioxide through the nose, and the breathography engaged exhales through the mouth, I'm gonna have to squirt a little bit of air out through my nose at the final 2 seconds so that you can see what the carbon dioxide measurement is. So I'm just gonna go 4 breath cycles in a row, and I'm gonna show you what happens. And I'm gonna try to, let's see, 2, 3. I'm just trying to regulate my jogging on seconds. Okay, here we go. Inhale, inhale. Inhale, inhale. Inhale, inhale. Woo, baby. And I even have to stop for a second. Oh my gosh. So I wanted to demonstrate this to you because at the end of a forced exhalation, we are getting that CO2 up to about 50, maybe even a little bit above. And so this is an interesting methodology of naturally increasing your carbon dioxide levels during exercise. It's incredibly fascinating. I'm actually going to keep the treadmill stopped for a second so you can hear me nice and clearly. There's a lot of reasons why you might want to add hypercapnic training into your program. Number one, it's a way of increasing training stress without increasing the stress on your body. There are many people who, whether it's a rest day, you want to deload your body for a variety of reasons. You have an injury, you're elderly, you've had injuries, you don't want to sprint uphill on a treadmill to get those physiological adaptations. When you perform that hypercapnic training where you're going above 40, 45 millimeters mercury, you are placing a training stress on your body. And what else correlates with that? Well, rises in lactate. And sorry for those who don't have a physiology background, I want to try to keep this as simple as possible. When lactate rises in the body, generally lactate rises in the body when you move past, at or past your lactate threshold. This increased lactate in the body correlates with training stress, and a lot of positive physiological adaptations happen, like increased lactate threshold, increased activity, and even BDNF in the brain are associated with increases in lactate from intense exercise. Now, this is wonderful, and don't worry, you guys, I actually have already ordered my lactate meter, so when I get back to New York, I'm going to start pricking my finger and actually testing my lactate to prove this other lactate hypothesis as well with this breathing. But I think what's important here is that there are so many benefits to high intensity exercise and increasing the lactate and increasing the carbon dioxide in the system, increasing the blood flow to the brain, increasing the blood flow to the muscles. And as you see, most of us overbreathe when we're exercising. So whether you simply want to focus on adding in breathing to your routine to regulate your carbon dioxide levels so you get more out of your workouts, or you want to use that intense breathography breathing to add training stress, spike your carbon dioxide, spike your lactate while working at a more moderate intensity exercise. I mean, I was just jogging at like 4.8 miles an hour. And you see, and you guys can't see my heart rate, but I also get a subsequent rise in my heart rate. So I'm using my breathing to increase training stress, which for many can be extremely powerful who thought that they couldn't perform high intensity exercise before. So this is the first part of many episodes on looking at certain biometrics, certain markers that reflect how changing up your breathing pattern can significantly affect what is happening physiologically. And there are so many components that I didn't even talk about today, but I try to keep these YouTubes 15 minutes or under because I know it's kind of, not a lot of us have very much time, but I wanted to make the quick point. Use your breathing. Use your breathing with your working out. Now, if you want to try some of these breathography workouts, the workout itself is called HYPOXiX. I call it HYPOXiX because the breath is progressive with the movement, meaning it increases in intensity over an 8-week period where you are working in some intermittent hypoxic breathing where your blood oxygen is lowering, not an unsafe amount, but I've been having this in trials, both formal at universities and informal, collecting hundreds of individuals' data. I've had them do the workout for free so that I can confirm these hypotheses and make sure that these are super safe. Safe levels of altitude training while working out. And so at HYPOXiX.studio, that's HYPOXiX.studio, I have several hundred of these classes that are based on the breathography technique. And at HYPOXiX.fitness, you can join the free community where there are forums. You can ask questions about this style of training. You can connect with others. There's even a couple of free classes on there, so you can always start there for free. And then if you are a trainer or a medical or health professional and you'd like to learn how to connect your core using breathography and teach your clients, your patients, how to connect their breathing to their core. The course is The Breathing Core, and it is supported by NASM, NSCA, Continuing Education Unit for all the major training organizations if you are a trainer. And that is also found at HYPOXiX.fitness, The Breathing Core. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to share more data with you as I continue with this work. Thank you so much and have a wonderful day.